Okay guys, I don't know if this is going to work out or not. My mic kind of stopped working today, which really sucks when the NDA gets lifted, but hopefully I can make a video for you guys to let you know what race to pick when you're getting into this game, because the NDA was just lifted, as I said. We're hopefully going to be going into open beta soon, so I kind of want you guys to know what you're getting into when you pick your race without having to get your possibly first reward for that race and then change afterwards, right? So here I can I'll already tell you what they're like, but I'll go ahead and do this just for argument's sake. And you don't just get the creatures, you can also get like weapons, you can get support items, which you might not see when I look up just the race. But as you can see, orcs are pretty freaking aggressive, right? Like, they're overall just really aggressive, really good stats for their costs. Some of them, though, can be sort of mid-rangey, like this guy, but you can also argue that can be considered an aggressive card still, just because dragging a card from your deck into the playing field can still be strong for an aggressive deck. So overall, I'd say if you want to go a pretty aggressive style, orcs are pretty good, but also style where like your minions have really nice base stats and stuff like that, right? So let's go to Nord. People getting off their Skyrim buzz will probably know Nords and Imperials the most. As you can see, Nords are just, when orcs are kind of aggro, these guys are just your straight face aggro, right? These guys are destroy a rune, deal damage to your enemy. When you have runes destroyed, get more attack. Summon guys with charge, these little guys. Refill your hands with little guys with charge. Refill your hands, period. Just your straight up smork. That's all this is. Whenever you destroy a rune, equip guy with the weapon, except for Murak, which is very controlled. But overall, Nords are very, very face. So if you like just your straight up aggro, those are most likely the two decks you're going to go with. Let's go Redguard. This is the third, I would argue, aggro class. So even though Redguard is aggro and it's played as aggro right now, overall, as you can see, it can easily be played as a mid-range deck. All actions cost 2 more. You got 6 magic, a 5/5. Whenever you equip it with a weapon, deal 1, which is basically use of deadly daggers to clear the board, stuff like that. And then you have, you have pretty mid-rangey, but the decks typically use to just put weapons on your guys non-stop and just go face, like Murak, which is very strong if you play him with a whole bunch of charged creatures at the same turn, and he just equips everyone with the weapon and you just go face. Bretons are semi-aggro right now, but they can also be played as sort of mid-rangey. And what they build on is, if you're coming from Hearthstone, you know it as sort of like Divine Favor, although it works a little bit different in this game. It's Ward, which is basically like your, you know what Ward is. It's your magic you cast, you make a shield around yourself, and it absorbs some kind of damage or magic or whatever it may be that Ward itself, blocks. They also have a lot of summoning Daedra, as you can see. And they have some that even work with that, and there's a lot of things where you can, like, say one of your Bretons loses Ward, they get a benefit from it, like, right. This guy, whenever he loses Ward, he summons a 5/5 Frost Astronaut with Guard. You can there's a lot of cards in the game that let you reward him, so he can lose his Ward, you can pop the Ward yourself, then you can reward him, and you can do stuff like that. So they're overall a pretty fun deck. If you're into that kind of stuff, then this is probably the deck for you. Yeah, it's pretty much what Bretons are. It's pretty much summed them up. Imperial is your straight up flood deck overall. As you can clearly see, you have cards like this that give +1 attack to every card you summon. A guy like this gains +1 health for every card you summon. And then you have things like this where you summon 1/1s in each lane. You have things like this that keep summoning 1/1s. You have things like this that summon 4 1/1s, or if the lane's empty, summon 4 1/1s. And you have things like this that cost 1 less for every card you've summoned. And then you have guys like this that give 2 HP to every card that you summon. And then you have guys like this that allow you to draw a card for every card that dies. Basically, if you have tons of cards, you're going to draw quite a bit. And you have General Tullius, which is summon 2/2. He summons a lot, floods the board, and then he gains attack based on what you're flooding. So if you like just flooding the board, throwing minions everywhere, then you'll probably like Imperials. High Elves. They're very much the mages of this game, as they should be. almost every one of their cards builds off of a lot, except for like Royal Sage actually. Now that I think about it, I love Royal Sage in a different kind of deck. But anyways, pretty much all their cards build off of just using spells, which are called actions in this game, using actions to build on your cards and just make them stronger. As you can see, +1/+1 for every spell you cast or action, plus draw 2 cards for every action or every 2 actions you use, or draw 1 card for every 2 actions you use. Sorry, and I can't edit, so it's going to look even worse. But you play, just straight up your like kind of mage style. You just Resu Ally isn't though, but most of these cards are built around casting actions. And then, as you can see, she's the biggest thing for that. Draw a random action from your discard pile. Your actions cost 1 less. One thing I can't say about High Elves is, from what I can tell, they only have 1 legendary that you can get from them. And you do get 1 legendary as your race at a certain level. I think it's level like 32-ish or 30-something-ish. So I think you'll always get her, which is nice because she's extremely powerful. But so that's a good thing to know. Then what else is there? There's Dark Elves. Dark Elves are a little weird of a class. I'm playing as Dark Elf right now, trying to get rewards for them, but they can go quite a few ways. But they're basically control overall, although they do have this sort of last gasp style that can also be played with them. And that's the main thing they're built off of, is last gasp. But you can also play them as like a control style, like this guy. Whenever you shackle, deal 3 damage to it. There's tons of cards of shackle, and you can basically full board clear, stuff like that. And then they also have things. This is the main thing they're built around, though, stuff like this, last gasp, which is death rattle if you're coming from Hearthstone. Summon a random creature with cost less than or equal to your max magicka. So basically, when it dies, it has a really strong effect, but you have to get it killed at 0/1, typically equipping it with a weapon or using cards like Soul Split, which you'll see when you get into this game, to activate it. Cards that just kill your own cards, stuff like that. Deal 3 damage. This guy's really strong early game for that reason, just his last gas effect alone. And then they have quite a few legendaries, which means the legendary you're going to get is going to be, you never know, because there's so many of them. But, like I said, they're a weird one, because you have things like this, a 2 magicka 4/4 that summons a 2/1 guard for your enemy when he dies. So it's weird. Like, they have some of these aggro cards, some of these last gas cards, but they also have these really good control cards, like this guy, deal 3 damage to your opponent and gain 3 health. It's just a little weird of a race overall. This guy, I love this guy. He's a 4 magicka 4/2 guard, and then when he dies, he summons a 2/1. Really hard for aggro to get through him. And then Drain is just amazing in this game. It's the way that whenever you hit something, you gain that much health. So basically, whenever she attacks, she heals. She's basically a 4 magicka 6/3 heal 6 in most cases, and she gives gives all your other friendly creatures cards, so it's harder to kill her. But there's also very easy ways to give her rewards, so she can't die easily, stuff like that. Argonians. Don't know how to spell Argonians, sadly, and this is the main race I played before the white, by the way. So Argonians are completely late game. Their entire goal, as you can see from like this guy, is to run a lot of big cards and just try to get them out as fast as possible through ramp. They have things like this to allow you to get Prophecy, which is where one of your runes are destroyed, you automatically draw them, and you can play them for free, and then you just throw them down and stop them in their tracks if they're aggro. You have guys like this, where you can play a card for 6 less if you have higher HP. This card is actually very popular right now, by the way. But, then you have cards like this. With 7 magicka, he's a 4/4, but without 7 magicka, he's a 2/2. You have cards like this that heal up your cards. You have cards like this that have lethal. Lethal means that if it hits anything, it dies. Whether it be by using some kind of magic or some kind of power it has, or anything, that as long as that card somehow hits another card through any means, it will kill it. You have this, which is like a flood card, sort of, even though it's an Argonian, which is a little awkward, but I've seen like another guy named Elude run this and flood with Imperial. And then you just have really solid cards. That's not an Argonian, by the way, but I know why that's in there. Anyways, Shadowfen Priest is actually, I would argue, one of the best cards in the game. Silence or destroy enemy support. Destroying enemy support is a very valuable text to have. He's a 4/4 for 5 magicka. Silencing a card is also good. The flexibility is really good. And then Hiss Mage was actually extremely powerful card. Love that card. It's ramp. It's also a 2/5 guard, which actually means it's a 3/5 guard because it gains 1 attack every time you gain max Magicka. That means every turn it's going to gain 1 more attack, and every time you gain Magicka through ramp, it's going to gain attack. It's just a really solid card. This guy is really good for stall. So basically, if you're going to go control, I would argue go Assassin, which is Dark Elves, or go Argonians, which is Scouts. And the reason why is because you do get their cards that are mixed Magicka, and the mixed Magicka is only in certain races, as you can see right here. And then the last ones I got to show you is Wood Elves and Khajiit. Okay. Wood Elf. Wood Elves are actually, their class is actually pretty popular right now. They're basically these guys that deal these little damage to people as archers, but then after they deal that little damage, you have ways to finish them off quickly. And I'll show an example pretty soon. But this card's actually probably one of the most popular high elves right now. She silences a creature and then deals 1 damage to it. That's really strong text. Here's the guy. Whenever anyone's injured, he destroys that wounded creature, and then for 5 magic, you get a 4/3 as well as destroying them. And when someone's injured, this guy gets +2/+2, and he has cards, so he's a pretty solid card for 4 whenever someone's injured. You have a guy like this to finish people off with 1 attack. Ungolem's just a really solid card. You have a guy like this, destroys all wounded creatures in a lane. And then you have Alina, which is, I think that's how you pronounce that, which she has lethal, and when she deals 1 damage, and then when she summons, she deals 1 damage to enemy creature, which means, like I said, any kind of damage, which means once you summon her, she's basically 6 Magicka, destroy a creature, and then she sits on the board as a 1/1. If she hits anything else, they die as well. So, pretty cool to know. And then Khajiit. I spelled that wrong. Okay. Khajiit are probably the funnest deck in the game. In my opinion, I think pretty much everyone agrees they're just like fun. But they basically have this pilfer, which is kind of like they're robbing you, right? They whenever they hit you, they take something from you, and what she takes is +1/+1 and a random keyword, which she can really get out of control pretty quickly. She'll draw you a random support from your deck. He'll switch lanes, and you'll see why that's valuable later. He'll draw a card, stuff like that. And then you have a guy with Prophecy, pilfer +1/+1 means every time he hits your face, he gets +1/+1. And you have these guys like this that swap lanes, so he'll actually move creatures from one lane to the other, so if they put enough guards, you can switch lanes for someone, and then they can hit their face still. This guy gains +3 attack, which means this guy can kill you pretty quickly if they can get the good combo off and swap lanes with this guy and the other guy showed. Move another friendly creature. When a friendly creature moves, it gains +1/+1, which means every time that 1/6 card moves a lane, he'll gain +1/+1 if this is in play. You have this, which gives lethal. You have her. This is one of the main ways to kill your enemy as Khajiit. She gains +1/+1, and she can attack twice each turn. And you'll see why that can even get worse in a second. You have this guy, which is your main card draw. Even though Khajiit do have 2 card draw cards. When he attacks someone and kills them, you draw a card, which is nice. And you have Burglar, which has Drain, and he has +4 Pilfer, which means he's really just a solid card. You have Anasi, I believe is how you pronounce it. Whenever you summon her, she steals all keywords from all enemy creatures. Very strong. She can, she's a very, very powerful card. One of the most powerful cards in the game. So don't sneeze at her. And then Master of Thiis. The main thing she does is she steals Ward and Guards, which means your Khajiit can still hit face if you're going a Khajiit deck. Friendly creatures with Pilfer can attack additional time each turn, which means now that girl that can attack twice, where was she? She can now attack 3 times. Yeah. So Khajiit are just a very fun deck. So hopefully that will give you guys a rundown of all the races, what you like. I don't know if my mic's going to work for this. I don't even know if this video is going to be released. Sadly, like I said, my mic's been really screwing up. You can barely even hear sound right now. I'm really sorry about that, and it really sucks, but you got to do what you got to do, right? Hopefully I'll be able, if it does still work, I'll be able to make a video about the little tips and tricks, like how silence works in this game, just stuff like that. That'll be a little bit later though, and I'll take the time and eventually I'll comment on this video with an arena guide, because I play a lot of arena and I get 7 wins extremely a lot. So hopefully, I don't think I'm like the best player, but I think I'm definitely up there with one of the better players. So hopefully I'll be able to make an entire arena guide very in-depth, and you guys will be able to check that out and get better at arena. So love you all, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great night.